Hey, we like wins around here. Phoenix Rising with a 1-0 victory over Loudoun United. But what does that mean for Phoenix Rising's chances of playoffs moving forward? Find out tonight.
Oh, he's singing again. He's singing again. You really don't have that down, do you?
I am in form. I am in tune, just like our friends
No,
at
you
Phoenix
are not.
Rising. Welcome into the PHNX Rising podcast. Appreciate y'all joining us. We're going live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Go on in and fill up. You know, being an Inner Circle member, you save that 25 cents off per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. And of course, go in and get those Polar Pops. It is nice. It is enjoyable. It is still hot out. Make sure you hydrate with Circle K Polar Pops. Of course, leave us a like on your way in. We appreciate you guys. My name is, of course, Max Simpson, and I'm joined by the ever-present, the effervescent Mr. Owain, the Oracle Evans. How we doing, buddy?
Stumbled over that one, didn't
I did a little bit,
yeah.
a little tongue-tied on that.
Okay. Yeah, it's we're doing a show after a win, which is the first time we've done that since
Yeah, give me
the El Paso game. When was that? When was that game?
Stalaki, how many days since that go?
How many days? It was many.
Calculate. All right.
He wasn't here.
Doesn't matter.
He
You
was,
can still calculate. We're gonna figure it out.
It was over a month
We're gonna get our
ago
best minds
since we
together.
last did a show on the week after a win. So, yeah,
Yeah.
there's that. I mean, that's positive, right? Yeah, Rising also back above the playoff line. So again, that is something that, yeah, you can be positive about that. But there are a lot of other things that we got to talk about because not all is sunshine and all of that fun stuff at the moment still. There are things to talk about on that front, kind of like how when search engine that I won't name because I know that Max will start to have some opinions about me naming that. You know, I hear the free ad dog is starting to woof a bit.
Whoa, hey, that easy, boy.
But you know, kind of like you look at the URL and just has in there when you look up the table for Phoenix Rising. But yeah, yeah.
Listen, we're at a point in the season where, again, it's weird celebrating a victory, not just because it hasn't happened in a bit, but also just what it means. This is something that you hope that it builds on, but again, it's kind of figuring out whether you take this game in isolation or whether this is something that you can kind of tell straight over moving forward and kind of, what's the word I'm thinking of? Project moving forward. That's exactly what I was looking for. All right, but shout out everyone in the chat. Siley first. She was in there first. Even before Statlack Reese, who's in the room with us and in the chat. Well, says you, the general. Hello. And Fat Kid, what up, homie? Devinol. I mean, okay. For sure.
Love Ronaldo.
He's a guy. I hope he's not talking about Damas. Yes. You know, let's actually take a look. We have... Right, we're going to pull that back up with you. The by the numbers presented by our friends at Desert Financial Credit Union. Again, Arizona's #1 credit union named by Forbes. Again, a look back into what was some might say dominating, but most won't. A 1-0 victory over Loudoun United. Again, XG 0.74 for Rising, 1.06 for Loudoun. Possession, it's essentially 50-50. Shots, essentially the same, 12-13. And shots on goal, 5 out of 12 shots were on target for Phoenix Rising. 8 out of 13 were on target for Loudoun United. Again, Owen, we were saying this during post-match, is the numbers were pretty accurate in telling the story, but the bigger thing here is Phoenix Rising just did not have the consistent attack for most stretches of this match. Yes, they were able to threaten a bit down the stretch, but if you're going to ask the question, who was more likely to score, it was going to be Loudoun.
Yeah, it felt that way for a lot of it. And that's why Rocco, Ríos, Novo was named to Team of the Week this week. And also ended up second in the voting. I'm gonna. It's a guess. Obviously I don't know everyone who votes on these. I'm gonna guess that it was myself and one other who voted for him. But I mean, welcome to the USL National Media Panel.
Hey.
It's not. The numbers aren't always, the number of people voting isn't always that high. But yeah, he finished second in the voting there for Player of the Week. Obviously behind Vegas player there who, he scored twice, and so understand that one. But yeah, it was the kind of game where I think Rising. It's awkward, right? Because we often talk, I think, about seeing positive steps, positive signs at times from Phoenix Rising. But often those positive signs you get trapped in a circle where those positive signs are the same positive signs that you see week after week after week. And it's always based on the idea that you know what you're going to do at some point, you're going to break through. At some point, you're going to move on past that because you've got the building blocks there. But at the same time, what it can sometimes look like is as though you've put the foundations of a building down and are expecting that the front door is going to swing open for you to your new home soon without really doing much there. And so you end up trapped in that awkwardness whereby, it can be easy to say, well, look, they were pushing, they had some good possession in the final third, but they didn't necessarily turn that into chances. The first half is the real case in point for that, where it felt as though for a lot of the time, Rising were in the final third. They had opportunities. What they didn't do is get that final ball across to someone in a dangerous position where they were going to create a dangerous chance. That's what they didn't actually do in the end of it. And it's one thing to say, okay, you know what, fine, building blocks are there. But there's, again, only so long that you can have the building blocks be there and it not be starting to actually be built up. Now, they do get the breakthrough, obviously, with Jearl Margaritha getting the goal. But it's still just one of those things where you look at and think it wouldn't have meant much in terms of just a different bounce here, a different bounce there, and they could have lost that game.
So true. I mean, again, if we're diving further into the stats here, again, mentioned possession pretty much 50-50, field tilt pretty much similar. Their duels similar for both teams. 40 of 86 duels won for Phoenix Rising, 46 of 86. So those remaining 46 out of 86 for Loudoun. Aerial duels, Loudoun did have the edge there, the majority of the 29. I mean, listen, it's something where, again, Ríos Novo, you mentioned, with the 8 saves, prevented 1.66 XG on target. So again, if we're looking at the house analogy and we're trying to get through the door, if that's what we're building, right? We've seen that this club has a strong foundation in some sense, right? You look at between the sticks with Rocco, you look at the defense, pretty solid, right? Overall. And if we're then kind of saying, hey, who's going to be able to get through the door? Well, I think you need to be able to knock before actually getting to the door.
Sometimes they
don't knock, man.
I'm going to change my analogy slightly.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so they've got the foundations there. They've got the foundations there. They put the door in. And then you can open the door, walk through it, whatever. The door is the defense. It's there, it's solid. Then you look around and you go, you got no walls. Like, you could just walked in.
Okay.
I mean, they got bits of it. They got bits and pieces up.
Yeah.
They do. The defense is solid.
Studs aren't in the ground.
Defense is great.
Yeah.
I think defensively, this team has shown repeatedly that it can hang in there. Now, Tulsa looked poor, says Kevin Mrs. Springs. Yeah, it's true. But also, Loudoun aren't great. Tulsa are on and off, okay? Yeah. I mean, they managed to get a win against Detroit. I know Detroit aren't great in the attack, but they held for a clean sheet up there, despite having 10 men for portions of that game. Defensively, I mean, they scored 3 goals against New Mexico. They did concede 3 goals as well in that game. It finished a draw, but they can score as well. And never again, and this is what I'll say, and it's the same as I've said with Rising, we can take lessons from this last Rising game. We should take lessons from this last Rising game. But never let one game ever cloud your judgment too much, because especially teams in this league, they blow hot, they blow cold, and you've got to look at the bigger picture there. And to me, that's why I wouldn't take their most recent games, say, as an example of, well, defensively, they're a bit shaky. They have been in some of these games. But again, I mean, Colorado were also a better team than Rising. And yes, Rising have had 5. No, that's not 5 clean sheets in a row, is it? Because they lost to Switchbacks.
Yeah, I don't think the math's adding up there.
Yeah, they lost to Switchbacks,
Get
Kevin.
Together.
So it's three in a row.
Hold on. Maybe was he talking about maybe involved in 5 shots in a row? Maybe. Math. Someone. Math.
I mean, technically, you can.
Yeah, technically.
You can.
Karen, I'm trying to help you out here.
Yeah.
We're trying to. I mean, silently in the chat, the XG was Wolf. I mean, I think I just did is again knowing what you had. We came along back to this, and this is kind of where we are at repeat within week after week. Is you're going to be able to stay in matches with the defense you have with Rocco. Again, it's always a double-edged sword. I don't want to say a backhanded compliment, but when your keeper is named to Team of the Week, you know that you had a good performance, but also you didn't have a good performance because he was facing a lot of shots. So he repelled them. He did a good job. That's what you can count on. But I think you need to be able to threaten more cohesively and more consistently. Listen, take Tomas Angel, right? Again, he is going to fairly or unfairly get a good chunk of the scrutiny throughout the season. His stats from Loudoun's match, 0.27 XG, 2 shots on target. So 2 out of 2 of his shots, both on target. Here's the thing. For a guy who you see in his movement, he does track back. He does link up. He is a bit of, he can be that false number 9. He can play the back shoulder. He is a bit of that positionalist striker, which makes it very intriguing. However, when you have that type of profile of player, you're going to expect, I would reference, a good number of touches. And what you saw, 17 total touches and only 5 of them in the box. I don't care whether you're a poacher, a typical number 9, some sort of link-up play, a false 9, whatever. If you have 5 touches in the box and you're only winning 1 of your 7 duels, that's not going to cut it.
I agree, but where you also then have to put the balance here, everyone knows that he is a talented player. Opposing teams know that he's a talented player.
Sure.
He's going to attract defensive attention that's going to make things awkward. The way that you counteract that is that you've got to make it feel like you've got legitimate threats in different places in the attack. And at times, Rising haven't quite felt that way.
At times
that's a pretty big part, right? At times you see it. We saw, of course, Margaritha get the goal in the last game. I do think, and look, this is something, I'm intrigued what you think about this. Do you think that the team used Rito effectively in the last game? Do you think they were picking him out at the right times?
I don't know if they were.
There was frustration on the pitch. I can say that much.
Yeah.
The thing about a place like Loudoun is that you can hear teammates talking to each other more so than we hear bits of it no matter where we. We see body language and we hear bits of it anyway, just by virtue of typically we're going to be closer to the field than people in the stands and definitely than people watching on TV. So we'll pick up on little bits like that. But Loudoun, there was almost no one there, so you could hear what's being said, and you can hear frustration from certain people, I think, on Rising's team who see Edgardo Rito making runs and maybe they're not picking out right. Okay, those are things that you can pick up on. At the end of the day, you've got to feel like you have that balanced attack, I think, because expecting Tomas Angel to be the fix to everything, even though, you need him to produce, and you need him to produce now, because again, you may be above the playoff line now, but it's still a pretty tough run-in that you've got left to come. You've got to make progress and keep making progress. You've got to do that with the entirety of the attack, and it can't be on the shoulders of one man, because when you put it on the shoulders of one man, when you have an expectation, I think that he's going to do everything in there. What you're running the very real risk of at that point is that he's going to be defended out of games. And look, he's a good player. He is not a global superstar that just, has the ability to say, I don't care what you're going to do defensively, I'm going to find a way through. He needs a little bit of help there. He does need a little bit of help there.
He does. I mean, I completely agree. And this is something we even cautioned against when the signing was happening of Phoenix Rising. Signs a number 9, yes, but it can never fall on one person, nor should you think that one person, no matter how talented one may or may not be, can lift an entire team. This is going to take an entire retooling of the attack. Now, again, you mentioned, can't just be him. One man who, again, we saw glimpses in his cameo first off, and he does get the goal. We highlighted him. Jearl Margaritha, right? 1 goal, 0.26 total XG. Again, he was our man of the match with 2 of 3 of his total shots on target, completed the dribble. I think it was one of those situations where the thing that excites me, and this is maybe the difference in how these two players play, I think Tomas Angel, a lot of his work that you're going to see is maybe a little less noticeable. It's the extra run. It's the whether it's a late arriving run, whether it's the darting run in through the heart of the defense and dragging a defender. He's going to get a lot of the dirty work that's not going to always show up. He's that type of striker. He may not score at a high volume of clips. We're waiting to see him get on the score sheet, right? So that may come, it may not come. But what I will say is Jearl Margaritha, whether he is either scoring goals, assisting, or what he's doing, we have seen now in 2 different matches, his movement is very noticeable. And his one-on-one attacking, listen, I think in a vacuum, it can be very effective over the course of 90 plus minutes and linking up with other teammates. That has yet to be seen, I guess, on a consistent game-to-game basis, how effective his positioning and his running can be. But in short spurts, as we know within this league, all it takes is all you got to do is beat your man one time, and it can open up a world of space. It then comes down to, can he keep making the right decisions? We did see there were a couple shots, maybe a bit rushed. We saw a bit of, I would say, lack of chemistry at a moment with Tomas Angel and really just still integrating into this team. But from what he can do on a pure talent standpoint, I am pretty bullish on him. I was bullish about him on the first match, and I'm pretty excited after the second one. Say what you want about the goal. He put it in the back of the net when this club has been unable to do so for a while.
Yeah, and I understand and take Kevin's points there, the goal itself. I mean, look, it did take a deflection, didn't it? Yeah, it did. And
gotta count it,
it's
though.
one of those. I know. At the end of the day, you're not going to score unless you're trying to put things into dangerous areas.
He's knocking. We're going back to the door analogy. He is a guy who's knocking consistently.
I know, and you're not going to get the door open if you just kind of stand outside, right? I understand that at all. You've got to actually take things on. You've got to try and take the game to the opponent, and occasionally you force those kind of situations. That's the thing, right? It's something that maybe you get that little bit lucky with, but you've forced it. You've forced that situation. You're forcing the questions to be asked, right?
Yes.
And again, it wasn't Rising's best overall performance, I don't think, that we've ever seen them put in, but it was fine in the end for what the outcome actually was.
Yeah.
That it was a scrappier game. Really, you probably need to see things be a little bit more convincing, I think, than that to really give you hope that this team is going to, actually get something done down the line. But yeah, you have to find ways to grind results out in games like that. Because again, if you make it into the playoffs, these are the kind of games where, if you're going to win, you're going to sometimes just have to win like that. Not very well, not very prettily, and not making people convinced that you are the best team that has ever taken the field. But what you're going to do is you're going to go out there, you're going to hold steady defensively, and then at some point the opportunity is going to present itself and you're going to take the win.
I think that's it. This is not trying to paint the team for what it isn't, and it's not trying to paint the team to lower expectations or ambitions. But again, no matter how many assets and weapons they have added in recent weeks, in the last 2 months, this team is not the team of last year, nor will it be. The team of last year, yes, they can go into matches and play defensively solid and win a low-scoring game, but we'll call it what it is. A lot of the times, I'm not going to say it felt like a pure shootout, but they can at least play that way. This season, this club in 2024, that's not how they play. If they get into a shootout, they're going to lose, I would say 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
That's not a disrespect to them. That is just how they're built, and that is just where they're at with so many new pieces, with a lot of younger pieces, and with guys getting integrated in. So where I think they have the edge is you do have to take those moments. You have to be able to find your space, and you have to be more clinical. And again, kind of like Kevin's saying, right? But if you shoot, good things happen. Suppose the Loudoun keeper had switched off. That's all it takes. We have seen clubs who are just have a lapse of judgment. We have seen teams that Rising have played. You are not going to be defensively honed in for 90 plus minutes. It is hard for anyone to do that, no matter where you play across the globe, certainly within USL Championship. You will have lapses, and it's all about exploding those in the right ways with the right people. I am curious, and I do have a bit of optimism in spurts. What is going to be key is, can they do it more consistently over not just 90 minutes, but from match to match? That remains to be seen.
Yeah, and again, just to really emphasize that point that Max is saying there about just how critical the defense is, because this team doesn't win games if they're shootouts typically. This team, roughly, it's marginally better than, but we're just going to round it to make it easy. They're only going to score more than one goal in 1 out of every 5 games this season.
Yeah.
Okay? That's the reality of where they are. 1 in 5 is when they score more than 1 goal. They don't score a lot of goals. This team just doesn't. It's not pretty, and I don't think it ever really will be, to be honest, with the way that they're playing at the moment. Look, there's a reason that this team, there's only one team in the entire league that has scored less goals than Phoenix Rising FC.
Yeah.
And it's El Paso. And El Paso are bad. That's the only one.
Yeah. I mean, that's just kind of where it's at, man. I mean, it's fractured, man. I think this club, it's going to be difficult to consistently, from match to match, drum up high volume of shots, or at the very least, high quality. And so I think, again, we're not going to always see these high XG games. And if we do, all power to it. But I think, again, it's not always trying to compare and contrast last season, but your averages and margins last year, where you would get into a lot of matches where you did have more possession, you did have more shots, you did have higher XG, and you would be at times drawing or losing matches, and you'd be very frustrated, and you'd say there's a lack of clinicalness. But more often than not, the averages will drum up the rest. You're not quite in that position this time around. And so the margin of error just gets shrinked that much more. I think that's where it's going to be a lot of nervy matches. It's not impossible. It's not impossible to turn some results into wins. It's just, I think you get to into those moments. And we even saw it again against the Loudoun match, where you maybe have 2-3 chances, maybe. And that's, in theory, all you really can get. Last season, you create a lot more chances just due to the dynamic of the team, due to who you had. You just have so much fewer chances. And I think it's last season, you miss 1 or 2. Okay, well, it comes back around. I just don't think you have that margin of error this time around.
No, I don't think you do.
Man. Well, after we come back, we're going to have to further extrapolate on just how this season is going, and what, this win against Loudoun, is it a sign of things to come? Is it a precursor? Or is this, kind of a blip? But listen, I gotta tell you, and I gotta tip my hat to our friends over at Brandon Bills. Did you see what I did there with the tip of the hat? Pretty good. Okay. No big deal. Brandon Bills, elevate your game with Brandon Bills. It is the perfect headwear and apparel. I'm rocking, by the way. Shout out, go Devils. They won season opener. Let's go. I'm rocking the Brandon Bills. Got that partnership. Little ASU looking hat. There you go. Mr. Kyle behind the Mac. He's rocking the exact same one. Looking fresh. Dude, Brandon Bills, it's fantastic. Again, they got with our friends over at ASU, and okay, no one's listening. I mean, even if you're a U of A fan, they got that too. But listen, if you're a U of A fan, they got those lids for you guys over there as well. Brandon Bills, great hats, quality design. They are local here to Arizona. And here's the thing that's even better. I want to help you save guys money. Go to brandonbills.com, promo code PHNX, save 20% off your first order. Again, brandonbills.com, promo code PHNX, save 20% off your first order. Boom. Also, check out our friends over at Circle K. Circle K, it's a great time. Listen, guys, that Polar Pop promo, it just keeps on giving. Again, listen, I got a little text, right? Because Their Polar Pop promo is supposed to end September 3rd, and because I'm an Inner Circle member, they're going to extend it just a few more weeks, right? Technically, right? Some people, today might be your last day for that 79-cent Polar Pop promo, right? 69 cents if you're an Inner Circle member, but guess what? Go to the pump, go get your Polar Pops because they like extending it for people because they're a good time. They're that damn good and delicious. It's hot out. What is it? Do you know, by the way, this was the 100th day in a row that we have hit triple digits. I'm going to say that one more time. 100th day in a row, triple digit days in a row that we have hit triple digits on the thermometer. And it's not Celsius because I think we'd be like up in flames. But 100 degrees,
dead.
Well, that's what I'm saying. 100 degrees Fahrenheit. That's what we do. It's hot as heck. Circle K, join the Inner Circle membership by downloading Circle K app today. Terms and conditions to apply. Participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for more details. All right, we're back. Phoenix Rising. We're trying to kind of sort through, right? Is this something that is sustainable? Is this something that they can build upon? And again, I know we were kind of ad-libbing mainly about the Loudoun game, but now it's trying to turn our attention to, and we should caveat, we will be doing our deeper dive preview for Tulsa and everything like that. Lots going on, especially in the days ahead. I know the club has a lot of announcements going on, but listen, from our perspective, not just Tulsa, not just looking ahead, where does Phoenix Rising stand in terms of points they need? And is there more of a hope that you feel, even just from the kind of gut aspect, from this last game against Loudoun?
But you see, here's the thing. The thing, right? It's funny how this international duty does tend to kind of fall awkwardly in the season, doesn't it? Always, because of course USL doesn't take time off. I mean, MLS doesn't either, so I can't really blame USL for not doing so. But yeah, it's something you have to deal with. But the reality is that Jearl Margaritha has been called up to the Curaçao national team squad. You also have Darius Johnson called up to the Grenada squad, and those two players that were signed to, ultimately help change this season around are going to miss this game, which is pivotal coming up. They're also probably going to, providing they're fit and everything's good, probably miss, I'd imagine, 2 games for the October window. It's a week where Rising are playing on Wednesday and Saturday, and the international first game would be on the Friday. So I imagine they probably miss both of those games. And you're kind of in a very awkward spot there then. That you're in a point where you brought them in with 12 games to play.
Yeah.
They're going to miss 3 through international duty. By the way, also, the playoffs fall during international windows as well. So thanks, USL Championship.
Yeah.
Conference final weekend, I believe, is an international window. So if you make the conference championship game, there's a chance. I mean, yeah, most players probably wouldn't really want to go up, but maybe it's a critical one in terms of the Nations League. Maybe you're at a point whereby qualification hangs on the balance of getting results, and then you start to put players in a very awkward position, which is why you shouldn't play playoffs during an international window. But you're in a position whereby potentially 1/4 of the games that these players were brought in to play at the end of this season. I know they're a longer term signing anyway, but 1/4 of the games in this short 12-game stretch, they could be off for international duty, and that's going to potentially, I think, cause issues down the line in terms of just helping them, especially this one, in terms of getting them gelling in with their teammates, about making sure that they don't necessarily push too far, about finding ways to just... there are all these elements in there. Obviously, you wish them well. Obviously, you want things to go well for them. And obviously, at the end of the day...
monsters.
No, obviously, at the end of the day, you want this kind of thing to happen in terms of international call-ups, because you want these players going on and playing at a high level and having the chance to play for their national teams. But it doesn't make it easy on you. That's the thing. It doesn't make it easy on you when you're going to have players missing for long stretches of time. Especially when you're really in a pretty desperate position like Rising are at the moment in terms of this Friday game is huge. It's massive. We'll get into it a lot more tomorrow. Woo! But it's huge.
How big are we talking?
It's massive. This is a potential season definer.
Whoa.
You
did not just throw that out.
Look at it this way. They're already behind Tulsa. They're already behind Tulsa. They are behind Tulsa. They're sitting in 8th place.
We can't spoil tomorrow, but whoa.
They're behind Tulsa. Rising sitting in 8th place. I don't know what the tiebreak is. I'm presuming it's points per game in conference, but the league have updated it, and Rising are currently behind Tulsa. Okay? So, yeah.
Hot take Owen over here. No, I'm kidding. It's on the real. It is a quite significant one to say the least. I think. I mean, and yeah. By the way, it does make it very interesting. With some of those players already going to be out on those international breaks. I don't know, man. It continues to make you chop and change, especially with new players coming in. Listen, you know me. I'm trying to be optimistic, but it's also the realism takes over in that it just gets that much tougher. And without doing a full-fledged preview about our game on Tulsa, what I can say about the season at large is you got to be finding your groove, and you got to be finding it now. I think the one thing, if I will say that maybe works as team's advantage, and again, I'm going to be reaching here. Make sure you hit the like button, by the way, if you already haven't. But I will be reaching. It is perhaps if you are needing to get hot and put a bunch of goals in, this team is not built that way. So perhaps the next best thing to do is kind of some sort of blueprint of dominate possession, get more high quality shots, and then see if one or two go in. Now, listen, this is not anything universal. This is not anything that's, wow, this is big brain stuff. As Owen gives me a look, footballing 101, take more shots, dominate more possession, score more goals.
Have
it's pretty
the
crazy.
Ball, shoot the ball.
It's pretty crazy.
Maybe get results.
No, but hear me out.
Hang on, hold on. Hear me out. Do you think Rising might have tried that this season, and maybe that's where they kind of at right now?
Hear me out, though. What I'm saying is, I think that this club is often than not, they're sometimes looking for the perfect ball. And you can even see that, right? I think in some of the ways in their buildup, in some of the ways where there's just not something quite clicking in that final third, I would say take a bit more shots, both literally, but also just in how you're building up, especially at home where you like to push the front foot a bit further. You got to take advantage of these home matches where you can.
Yeah. Max, I mean, what a tactical genius. We got Pep over here.
Advantage Blue and Max advocating score and park the bus. I would never, although it's not the worst idea.
That's Max. Pep over here. We got
big brain.
Poundland Pep over here. He knows what he's doing. This man over here. He knows how to set things up.
The Brandon Bills hat makes.
Rumor has it. I mean, Max, you should go work for a team, mate.
Oh boy.
We'll get you in.
We'll get me in.
We'll get you a job.
I mean,
somewhere.
again, I've already quelled any rumors of, again, I've declined trying to repeat my golden boot. I'm just saying.
Rising's still hunting for a manager, mate. You should call him up.
Yeah, no,
they're not making a decision yet. They're still looking for the new head coach. You gonna give him a call? I
let my play do the talking, and the players are tired.
You just give him a call. Come on, give him a call. Send me the resume.
I'll give you the
email address.
We are
going to reach out to people in there.
Blueprint, Kevin, in the chat, right? No, I mean, it's...
Shoot Bobby an email.
Oh, gosh, no.
You should do it, mate. Nah, come on, head coach, Max Simpson.
I prefer my full-time job. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
No, I'm good here. No.
You don't think you could crack it?
I don't think I can crack it.
Wow, that's humility that I don't think we've seen from Max.
Humble and modest.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Because normally he's doing things like saying that he could score.
I didn't say that.
You definitely said if you played a full season, you'd score a goal.
Kyle never said that. See, Kyle in the chat. He's the voice of reason.
Absolutely said that.
Were you the one that said you could score a penalty kick?
Oh, yeah,
he did.
100%. I'm bearing that. Absolutely.
Because he said he'd get a penalty at some point and that'd be the goal.
That's fine.
Or he'd just goal hanging at tap-ins.
Again, my record speaks for itself.
Kevin needs a second assistant for his middle school team. You'll go coach Max.
Hey, to be fair,
Coach Max.
I've wanted to coach the amateur level. It'd be pretty cool one day. Not right now. I got need a little more free time, but down the road, on the real, on the very real.
One of these days, it's going to happen.
One
of these days, it's going to happen. happen, and we're gonna have to
get some content.
We're gonna have to make like a whole series on this.
Oh gosh.
Okay, forget these programs on the various streams.
Coach Max or Coach Prime. I feel Damon's asking that. No, that's just Reese.
Yeah, what are you gonna go with for the headgear for that? It's gonna be something from Branded Bills. I know that.
I mean,
but
he looks so good. Come on.
I mean, but what kind of hat you got?
I mean, look, I'm going Branded Bills comboed with some
look?
Shady Rays sunglasses. Come on now.
Okay, but like
Ted
what
Lasso
else?
season 4 is actually just Max coaching. That's the one free ad, but it's prospecting. There we go. Yeah, man. It's one day. One day we'll get there. Certainly at not any stakes or any level where I can jeopardize actual footballing development. Give me like a.
But that's like every level though. Unless
no. Okay, listen. I'm gonna be real. If you're trying to recruit. And this is now going off tangent. We're now off the rails.
Yeah, we're staying with this.
We're done, and we're staying with this. We're now here.
Like,
We've
got enough stuff to talk about tomorrow. We'll have fun now.
If you are trying to resting your hopes on the future of country's national team or a country of USL Championship, and no offense, if you're digging in 7th grade of Arizona soccer. Nah, man, there's something gone wrong. I'm sorry. No.
This is Max saying that he's going to be teaching under 6s how to play, park the bus. Okay, realistically.
Start him young. The beautiful game.
That's not a beautiful game,
Beautiful game. Beautiful to me. Hey, you know what's beautiful? Results and winning. That's what we do.
The whole point is developing the younger kids.
Also develop their tactical acumen and their
tactical acumen. It's get everyone behind the ball.
A little.
What are you gonna do? Tell them go. That one's good. Go kick lumps out of them.
Let me choose my words carefully. A little poophousery, if you will.
Max is going to teach him the dark arts.
You can muck it up. I would never say the dark arts.
No.
Muck it up a bit. I would never say the dark arts.
It's going to be one of those things where, they've only got 3 balls, so kick one of them over the fence and then kick another one over the fence.
Yeah, and
then kick the third over the fence.
That's the other end of the
and that's wastes enough
to
time.
a U18. We love that. We love that. Does Max pay NIL?
Max, would you pay NIL?
They can.
To be fair, if you're doing it, it's not. If the coach is doing it, I feel like that's not NIL at that point.
I don't think so. I'll give him polar pops.
That's more like a wage at that
polar
point,
pops,
right?
Okay, get something healthy from there. A nice little refreshment.
Well, Max is getting the refreshments in.
Yeah,
he's got those Circle K snacks, the polar pops.
I'm just a nice guy. All right, Alexander trying to get us back on track, which I appreciate this. Here we go. I'm more angry at Rising being mid. At least if we were rock bottom, the investors could switch up the whole technical staff. I'm afraid we can become mid for years. Listen,
the team is mid.
They're
mid-table.
They are quite literally mid.
They were mid-table last year and won a title that kind of papered over the fact they were mid-table.
And I think
the year before that, they weren't mid-table.
The last time we saw any sort of very real, I would say, full-scale change to, you remove the head coach. Yes, while we did see it this year, I would say from a regime change, right? Rick was there for a number of years. That's where you saw
regime change.
I'm just saying from a guy who was there.
Max is talking about this like a foreign diplomat right now.
No. What do you want to call it? A culture change? What do you want to call it? He was in charge of this team for numerous years. That was kind of the point where it's like, hey, it's a reset. There you go. It doesn't feel like this is a reset this year. This is kind of trying to figure out your identity as you're going from match to match while also figuring out the future and the present. So to Alex's point, it is a very fair comment of Rising kind of at the point where they're not forced to make another wide sweeping change, but they're also not really in the point of they should be at minimum from the talent they have, from the payroll, and really just the resources, should be a top 4 team. And
look, the fact of the matter is, if you're talking about regime change, at times it feels like this club does have weapons of mass disappointment. Okay? They are mid-table at best. And that's what we've been watching. It's not great. And it's falling apart. in a lot of ways. You get positive signs, you get positive little steps that keep you there, as you will. And look, it will not shock me if come the end of this season, this team is a playoff team. But in a league where 8 out of 12 teams make the playoffs, that's not really an achievement. And that's kind of the congratulations, you have a pulse.
Yeah.
And you can say once again that once you get in, anyone can win. Phoenix Rising proved that last year. But I thought we spoke last year about how that was very much to just quote the Darius Formella thing and not the bits that I know Max won't want me quoting from that particular speech. But like, nobody ever did this before and nobody's ever going to do it like this again. And it's true.
It's true.
I think that the nature of Rising's win last year was a very, 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 very big outlier compared to what you would anticipate to happen. And they pulled it off. I think, again, you were in a position whereby you had a coaching staff there that squeezed every last drop out of a group of players that were all right, definitely. And there were some very talented players on there. And they squeezed every last drop out of them to make it work. You're not going to see that happen repeatedly. You're not going to see that happen again, I think, in the near future. And also, again, I always... It's one of those things that I always like to point out. You don't make money playing playoff games on the road. Everyone knows that. There is not prize money. They don't split the gates. They lose money traveling to these games. Phoenix Rising did not actively make money from that playoff run. Yeah, there'll be ancillary stuff that, yes, they do make some money. The merchandise, all of that kind of stuff. That all adds up a little bit, but not like you're selling out a stadium in a playoff game. Because if you can get 10,000 people out there...
Yeah.
I mean, look at it this way, right? 10,000 people out there, what would you say average would be? 25 to 35? Probably a ticket?
I would
say you're
so.
Talking of $250,000 to $350,000 for a home game.
Yeah.
I mean, there's expenses involved in that as well. And I won't pretend that there aren't, because there are, that you've also got to knock out as well. But it's just one of those things that you really, really have to try and get home playoff games, because that makes a season. That has an impact, a noticeable impact.
Yeah.
Okay? It's not a tiny sum of money.
No, we're not.
And anyone who's familiar at all with the kind of wages these teams pay knows that kind of money is not a tiny, insignificant amount of money. We're not talking about a Premier League team now whereby they don't really care who's coming to the games because they're making all their money off that sweet, sweet TV deal.
Yeah.
That's not the reality of this level.
No, it's fair. I mean, again, it kind of goes back to the... what's going on the pitch. It's the playing style. It's the margins of what you're working with. Shoot, man. Again, we've had discussions on this to a point, and I totally get what Alex is bringing up, what other people are asking about of who's involved and not within the investor standpoint is it's the worse some of the on-field stuff happens, there is a trickle-down effect of how it impacts asset, all different facets of the club. And it's just, it's kind of the point. It's kind of just a different way to look at things everyone thinks that you have owners who are owning this club and it's just a limitless fund and all this stuff. Like, no, man, it's a business. People want to see an ROI, return on investment.
Here's the other thing, though, and this is the bit that interests me. I know there's determination there for people to win, but at the same time, and this is just something that was thrown at me by a fan over the weekend, does the number of chefs in the kitchen have an impact? Look at how big Rising's ownership group are. There's a lot of them. But, and this is seriously now, that also then obviously shares out risk. Okay, do you maybe feel more urgency if there was a smaller group of people that were taking the hit themselves? And it's not that they're not taking a hit. I know these guys are taking a hit and they are paying a good amount of money to help things run and keep things afloat. But does that change things? I don't know.
I don't know, man. It's
or is it the for want of a better comparison, membership fee to the country clubs in order to take part in the fun and part here of being a sports owner?
Yeah.
How many of the owners are active,
That's a fair
though?
question.
Yeah, some are, some aren't, some are, some aren't. But anyway, I will leave that tangent, I think, now. I think we've kind of done that one a bit to death. I will say that, again, for anyone who's interested, I hear there is a Q&A coming up with the team president. And,
there is, and
we won't mention where it's going to be because that would apparently be a free ad, I'm sure.
So apparently it is.
It is a free ad. That's a free ad.
No,
but we can mention the event that's happening.
Well, we will talk about more about that after the break. First, gotta tell you guys about our friends over at Valley Tap Room.
Tap Room?
Yeah, Tap Room, that's not a free ad. That's not a free ad in the darn slightest. Owen, I don't know if I mentioned before.
Max, that's not the most convincing way you've ever given that one. But yeah, we love having a great time.
Whoa, I'm convincing myself just like Valley Tap Room is about their
we always have a great
delicious
time,
beer,
man.
the delicious
Lots of great
specials, and can I even say the delicious environment, dare I say? Because
especially when Spain saves football.
Oh, that's what happened. Oh my gosh. And it was at the Gilboa location, is that correct?
That is correct. But they also have the Queen Creek location that I believe is opening up early for NFL games as well, going down the line, if you prefer the other variety of football.
Oh, we like that very much. Well, yes, our friends over at Valley Tap Room, they have those two locations, Gilbert and Queen Creek. Check them out, of course, valleytaproom.com, and of course, all socials at Valley Tap Room. Great people. Tell Dom I'll say what's up. Go on in, check them out. Great people. So yeah, there's that. Also, listen, all I'm going to say is this. I don't know what producer Kyle has up his sleeve.
I do know. And I'm going to give some context to this now for those of you who don't know what's going on at the moment. And that is that, unfortunately, there's some propaganda going around at the moment, is what I've been led to believe. And look, I hate the way that these shows are being hijacked for political reasons. But I do hear that there has been... Well, there's kind of like a row going on at the moment in the office between people who, obviously see some certain members of this company that decided to just brand themselves with titles. And since they've decided they want to have an election, apparently, to decide who's going to be the mayor of PHNX. And I'm sure this is just another party political bit of propaganda, but let's have a... Kyle, is that true? It's true, isn't it?
I haven't seen it, so
we're all you absolutely. Well, you know what? It's fine then. If you haven't seen it, we can't air it because maybe it has bad words in there and content we can't share.
I got the approval from Leah, though.
I don't know about that. I think
hit it, Kyle.
I'm gonna say no. I think
we're gonna watch it.
It hasn't been an easy year for Arizona sports fans. The community is reeling from disappointing records, playoff exits, and the loss of an entire franchise. It's time to leave all that behind. It's time for new leadership, a new voice to usher in a better era for all of us. One that leads with positivity first. That's why Petey is the right choice for the candidate of mayor of PHNX. Petey isn't afraid to speak up for what is right. No new jobs, no new tax revenue. He's not afraid to challenge authority. An open letter to Mr. Alex Morello. Petey knows how to bring people together. He reaches across the aisle in an effort to unite us all, across all sports, across all cities. He's not going to lead with negativity and divisiveness.
These are in a box. Hey, PHLY, I can't wait to see what t-shirts you guys pick out.
I got all sorts of problems with you, Dallas.
Time to shed the negativity and turn to the positive choice. One that can help you build a floor and build a wall. He is always there to lend a helping hand to get things done. Petey is positive. Petey is for the people. Petey is the right choice to be the next mayor of PHNX. Paid for by Petey for Mayor. I'm Petey, and I approve this message.
See, those things would work better if, there was actually, recognition of the sport that you were gonna actually play it on here. I'm just gonna say it that way. Did PT have a single Rising reference in there?
Oh my gosh.
Did he?
Oh my gosh.
It's all this negativity. I think this team won a title last year.
Yeah, I hear you're firmly you're firmly in Espo's camp. That's what I hear.
No. Espo forgot him as well. Some people's ads don't forget about Phoenix Rising, and I'm just gonna say I think that's a really critical part of this one. Didn't PT tweet a few weeks ago about Rising like a 0-0 draw as though it's football's boring.
Doesn't sound.
I think
like
it does sound like something he tweeted. In fact, I could probably pull the tweet. I think he tagged you in the tweet.
No,
he did. It was a Hartford game. I even remember the game.
You remember the game?
I remember the game.
We're doing that to Pete. He's a nice
There we
guy.
go.
He's
PT is a nice guy, but I'm sorry. You come and advertise on our thing, we're going to hold you to account. This is where you come for the facts. PHNX Rising.
Is it though?
It is.
We're a factual podcast. We're a serious podcast. I know that we're a professional podcast.
For this. I tell you what, I think we are the people of fact as a pod discussion here.
Oh boy. All right. Well, this is quite the forum. Listen, we kind of teased it before the break, but a little Thursday, a little action.
Thursday, yeah, we're not gonna have a show on Thursday, by the way.
Nice.
We're gonna be having a show tomorrow instead, because there is a lot going on instead on, on Thursday instead, when that's a Q&A going on with the club president Bobby Dooley and the sporting director Brandon McCarthy and apparently an unnamed player. Whoa. But we'll see what
you
goes
forgot the biggest
on
star of them all
with that. Oh, Joe Lowry!
Yeah!
Shout out Joe Lowry, friend
Joe
of the
Lowry.
pod. But yeah. So he's just moderating it, kind of. So
he's going ahead.
He's not as much as we love Joe. I'm not sure he's the attraction of it necessarily. You can tell him that I said that if you want, but he'll probably be okay with that.
Oh no, I will not. Well,
I might just text it to him later.
A bit of other Rising news, right? So we got the announcement on Thursday, but listen, Rising got championship rings.
Yeah, they got rings. They finally got the rings there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, listen. Here's the thing. We're always doing all these clubs, these teams. When you get the rings, they have the explanation for everything. They have the design. We can get into that, but I'm going to ask you overall. Scale 1 to 10. What do you like? What do you think?
Yeah,
of the
they're fine. I mean, I'm not a big rings guy anyway. It's a very American thing.
Love
It's obviously
rings.
it's not something that I grew up with. This idea of that, like the medals are the thing.
This is metal, but like for your
No,
ring.
the medal.
Yeah, but like metal for your ring.
No.
Yeah, we're saying the same thing. Metal.
I'm gonna unplug his mic if he's not careful. This man is trying to bait me into saying bad words right now.
Owain,
I can tell.
I would never. We're talking about the same thing. The Rising is wearing metal.
Right, Reese, come here, replace him, please.
Ah.
Reese, come in. Reese, come on.
Oh,
Come on.
man.
You're old enough to be on here now, Reese.
He is.
Stand up.
He's
stand
not.
up.
He's still a little
Come on,
active.
come on. Yeah, come in. Wheel him away.
Oh, no, don't do that.
And then just take his place.
BrandonBills.com promo code PHNX for 20% off.
All right, Reese, come on. You can kind of squat down if you want. Get your squats
deed
in
is
on Neil.
done.
There we go.
Max
All
is
right,
gone.
Reese. How you doing, mate?
Life's good. Max isn't on the pod
I
anymore.
know,
so.
it's so much better now.
I can run.
As we look at these championship rings, what are you thinking about them?
I also think they're stupid. Medals are the way to go. Not metal.
I mean,
medals.
Yeah. See, I would look. I think for what they are, they're fine by and large. There's one or two bits we'll pick up on now, but like by and large, they are fine. Okay, they don't look bad. I mean, I'm just not a guy who's big on like the championship ring
They're
thing.
too gaudy. I think all rings are like that.
All are though. You're
Yeah.
right. You're right. Yeah, they all kind of are. But the one thing we were going to pick them up on, it was kind of the back of the ring, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Now you've been listening, I know, to some of the audio clips from here and some of the talk on from what Juan Guerra was saying with the motto they used, and the one they put on there is "Found our North." What was your thoughts just on? Because obviously, what was the motto that Juan used?
I'm pretty sure it was "Know Your North," but he also tweeted out "Our North is clear."
He used "Our North is clear" a lot, and the need for the North to be clear.
Yeah.
I didn't know that "Found Our North" really fits it. It just felt a bit weird, bit cringy. Not least because you want to consistently achieve those things. That's almost the North. The North is building this into something serious, that you're going to be always the big competing club. And the idea that you won a title and now you've made it and goodbye, and it's not really the North, is it?
No.
Because otherwise, what's Rising's North now? Will win it again. Isn't there a bigger... I thought the North here is the bigger picture, surely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was also looking through Juan's tweets. He's tweeted out North like 7 times, like through his time with
Including
Oakland
when he
too.
was with Oakland, yeah.
So
Big tweeter.
he's also not very creative either, it seems like. So
That's harsh.
gotta come up with something else when you're at a new team. I mean,
It's true. It's true. It's true. All right. Well,
let's bring Max back.
I think
I'm
Max
sorry,
is
everyone.
No, he's back.
Like I never left.
Really?
All right.
Really?
Well, yes. Producer Kyle, everyone give him a shout out. He whipped together a nice little something for us. Let's take a look. Right, giving a little visual of these graphics. So again, right, you're kind of seeing, for those of you who haven't seen, you can again go to PHX Rising FC on their Twitter to see a bit more of the explanation. This is just an overall look of, right, just what the ring looks like. Again, you can read about, the certain things like, there's like 4 points for like the number of the away wins, the look overall. Listen, I think overall, I like the outsides of the ring. I do agree with you guys on what you're saying of like the insides, the engraving are maybe a little bit to be desired, so to speak. Is that a fair assessment?
Phoenix
there?
on Fire made me cringe a little bit as well. I know they were singing it, but it just made me cringe a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair.
It felt like it was a lot of stuff that was like reaching for, we want details. And
We love details.
yeah, they were fine, but
Okay, that's fair.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, we shall see. We shall see. Yeah, Reese on camera. Frank, do you guys want to see more of Reese? Do you guys want to have him on the pod more often? Do we want that? No? Yes?
They're just kicking Max off every so. If it means less Max,
Whoa,
says Reese
that's
from off camera.
uncalled for. Whoa.
Oh.
Listen. Oh boy. Yeah, make sure to leave a like here, people. Anything, right? I know we're going to get into it, Tulsa, a little bit further again. Reminder. There is no Thursday show. We are coming to you back again tomorrow. 6 p.m. Tomorrow, Wednesday, 6 p.m. sharp. By the way, guys, listen, I tweeted out. Producer, the overlord that is K-Coop Sports, Kyle behind the Mac, he will be ensuring that we start at 6. And we tried to reason with him, like, Kyle, maybe a 6:03, maybe a 6:05. I think that's what people want. He's like, this man is punctual. This man's going to hold us in gear. And one of us on the show, we're not going to point fingers, really needs
Rumor
it.
has
really
it
needs
that actually Kyle is potty training Max.
Whoa!
Okay, so that he's ready on time.
I take my breaks long in advance of the podcast. Thank you very much.
On time.
He has to go at least 15 minutes before.
That's true. 15.
You never know how long it'll be.
Yeah,
It's true.
yeah, that's fair. Man.
Well done, Max. Well done.
Well,
He was on time today.
Hey, we're turning over a new leaf
we
here
love
at
it.
Phoenix Rising. Listen, we're just, what we're going to do is we're going to try to galvanize that team. We're going to say, hey, we're going to be ready and on time. We're going to be first to the attack, everything like that. And we're going to hope to follow suit. But yeah, again, we'll chat. Oh no!
Why is Kevin saying Reese hot dog challenge next show? It's a 10-minute hot dog challenge.
Hey, that one streaming platform had their hot dogs.
Hold on.
Oh no.
Hold on.
Oh no.
No, because Reese just said words that the people didn't hear, and I need Reese come back here and tell the people what you just said.
10 minutes, 10 dogs, easy. I could do it.
We're going to have to live stream this at some point.
This is content.
We might do this.
This is content.
Should we? 10 minutes?
Easy.
He's so confident.
Oh, he's so confident.
Can we do that? Are we? We're gonna have to.
We can do that.
Well, I'm not worried about it from can we? I'm worried about. You know what? We're gonna have a conversation. Our people are gonna talk to Reese's people. We just gotta clear some legalese and stuff out of the way. But yeah, we'll make it work. Yeah.
We're gonna make this happen.
If not on the live show, Die Hard exclusive. Go become a Die Hard. What more reason to become one of all this exclusive content? Ain't it great? Ain't it?
We need to do this now.
Yeah.
We really need. We will do this, and we will find the most grim-looking hot dogs we can get you, Reese. And we're going to sit you down in one of these studios and just give you like 10 minutes and see what you can get. I think that's the right way of doing it.
Yeah. Well, hey, make sure, go become a diehard. Go to phnext.com today. Become a diehard. Check out, all the fun things we got going on. Again, we got merch. We got all different kinds of stuff there. But also, right, listen, look at the written articles. Look at just all the great stuff we have going on. Again, I think that'll do it for us.
Yeah, I think that'll do it for us.
I think that'll do it.
Maybe, you know what? If we can pull it off, do you reckon we could do it tomorrow even?
No. We are not going to promote. We're not going to give the hot dog helper 10-10 challenge extraordinaire on a 1-day promotion notice. Oh no, we are making this an event. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. Appreciate everyone joining us here on the PHNX Hot Dog PHNX Rising podcast. Of course, you can follow us at PHNX__Rising because double the underscore.
Double the hot dogs that Reese is going to have to eat.
Maybe
we'll do like 20 and see how many of them he gets through in 10 minutes.
I'm not saying confident now.
20 might be pushing.
All right, that's fair.
I'm not saying you have to get through 20, but I'm saying if we made 20, we'd know how many you would get through.
Dear gosh.
There's not now realistically a
You
cap.
can follow me on Twitter at Max David Simpson. You can follow Owen on Twitter at OJ Evans18. You can follow the Hot Dog Helper, the stat like a Reese himself at Reese11_. You can follow Kyle Cooper behind the Mac at KCoopSports. Give him all.
The club will get the exclusive
Dear
38 to watch.
Dear gosh. Follow him at KCoopSports. Appreciate everyone joining us. We're back tomorrow, Wednesday at 6 p.m. sharp on the double. If Kyle Cooper has anything to say about it, which he does, and it's a beautiful game, but it's way more beautiful when you're not eating 10 hot dogs in 10 minutes. Good night.
We all silly like the mayor.